sitting here looking at the eastbound traffic all in the morning as people just rushing to get to work. So this is actually Guyana, and it's on Mandela Avenue on the back road. So here it is now, the ride has arrived. Time to get on board and get on to the Essequibo.
Marker that separates Georgetown from the east bank of the Demerara. Now why the Demerara? If you look to your right, you'll actually see some ships out there. That is the Demerara River. So we're actually going to be crossing that Demerara River in a few minutes. And we're going to be heading over, possibly for the last time or one of the last times, the Demerara Harbour Bridge. Now the Demerara Harbour Bridge was built in 1978. That makes it about 46 years old right now. Not bad for a bridge that was originally designed to just last 4 to 5 years. But through both Dutch and German engineering, they've had it for 46 years as our only means of transporting large quantities of goods, vehicles and personnel over the Demerara River to conduct business, to go to school, go to work. Now the reason why I say it may be one of the last times is because we actually have a new bridge under construction. So as we go across, I'll show you how the bridge works, why it was needed for such a long time, and what the new bridge is going to be. Right turn, we're going to be entering the carriageway for the Harbour Bridge. So this bridge, like I said, 46 years old, and it's 1.8 kilometers long. Now this bridge has no foundation into the riverbed or onto either bank. It's a completely floating bridge. So at 1.8 kilometers, it actually makes it still the longest floating bridge in the world today.
So this is where we have to pay tolls.
Yep. So you pay a small toll when you cross, but you don't pay to return. So because this is a floating bridge, you'll feel the sway, the gentle sway of the bridge as it rolls with the waves and also the weight of the vehicles on it. To the left and right, you'll see a lot of buoys and stabilizers and barges. This is what keeps the bridge afloat. To our left, that is not actually the new bridge, but just the loading platform for the cranes and equipment to work from while they construct the new bridge. Now, because this is a main port that's actually going to be leading to a deep water port soon, this bridge actually retracts. So you've seen movies where some bridges open like a ramp. This one actually retracts. So we're actually passing one of the spans now that pulls apart, and it does this every day for about 90 minutes. So during this time, the bridge is completely closed to all vehicular traffic. So you can imagine the chaos that creates during rush hour. Demerara River, the original name was discovered by the Spanish, was Rio del Mar. So over time, as they started developing villages and cities throughout Demerara, the name through translation and over time became the Demerara River. Right? When we get to the Court of Policy in Essequibo, I'll tell you a little bit more about how Demerara was run, how its parliament was created, and where it was run from. Now, the Demerara River is the shortest of the three main rivers in Guyana, with very few tributaries. It starts at the convergence of three waterfalls, the most significant of which is the Great Falls. So this travels from Linden all the way to the Atlantic Ocean where it empties. Alright, so we're going to be crossing this river from east to west and then making our way to the west coast of Demerara, where the Demerara meets the Atlantic. And we'll follow that coastline all the way to the county of Essequibo, alright, which is our main destination today. the president of that time, Lyndon Forbes Samson Burnham, felt that with the development that was happening in what was just a rural sector where rice and sugar cultivation was happening, there was a greater need for expansion and for communication between the two counties, well, the two banks. So that's when the initiative of removing the ferry service and putting a bridge came into play. You're gonna go from Dutch names to French names to English names, and it can be very confusing. You wonder, Guyana is an English-speaking nation. Why are there so many confusing names? You notice this on the East Bank as you go towards the airport.
So here we're walking and about to board the vessel here. Now this is what I hate. As you can see here, all these garbage. People just use whatever and they just dump it. That's what he's talking about. Yeah. Shallow drift service. I guess this is like a barge. Is it too low? You can't adjust the handle? There's a car backing up there and he cannot stay on the board to have a smooth ride. Are we done? Morning. As we continue on the pier towards the boat to get on the mighty Essequibo River. There's a lot of boats here. I guess there's some construction going on under there. Take a walk on the here, you gotta look at the vessels that's here. More or less like a private wharf. Now can you imagine I have Max there? Max, you need to hold the bar. Come on, Ali, you go. Grab here. Oh, someone wait, sorry. I want to make sure you get on the right side.
On the right side?
Yeah, on the right side. And now we're gonna board the boat here. Here we are at Bartica, loading up the boat to get onto the Essequibo River. The Essequibo River is the longest river in Guyana at approximately 600 miles long. Raises in the Guyana hinterlands near the Brazilian border. The river flows north to the Atlantic Ocean, and there are rapids and waterfalls along most of its course. The Essequibo River is a massive river and is in many ways the heart of Guyana. There are many villages and towns scattered along the way down the river, and with its 365 islands, there are a lot to see in the Essequibo.
Take your time going up the ramp.
Your foot's swollen.
First and come off last.
Legs. Please, on this destroy his skin.
Alright, let's go, let's go. Try to get out the sun as much as we can. I think you got the message, it's alright. Don't beat him. Oh, you reach up there so fast. I can't even get up there so fast. There's a fright. Alright, sorry about that. So Fort Island, also called Flag Island, is where the Dutch settled in the early 1700s when they came to the Essequibo. It is also where they ran not only the Essequibo and all their operations, but also the Demerara River that we passed earlier. Alright, so we're going to do the long walk first before the sun gets hotter, and then come back and do the short walk. Alright, so we're going to Fort Nova Zeelandia, which will be the right turn at the end of this trip. Alright?
Take note.
Alright, so we're going to do the long walk first before the sun gets hotter, and then come back and do the short walk. Alright, so we're going to Fort Nova Zeelandia, which will be the right turn at the end of this trip. Alright?
Small island.
Yeah.
But here, these are the best place to live. But in the old days, you remember when they keep man them in a do?
All that's my cousin do.
Really?
Here's how you do it. Fucking some gold enough to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to stop to do any purchases or take a snack, let me know, right? Or if you need a break.
Yeah.
We're ahead of schedule.
Okay.
Alright, so this is Fort Nova Zeelandia. Now that name rings a bell, right? It sounds very familiar. Kind
Golden
of like
apple.
New Zealand. Yeah. So Nova Zeelandia actually translates, please correct me if I'm wrong, by my understanding, to New Zealand, which means sea land, or any land partially or completely surrounded by water. Alright? So when the Dutch settled in different places like Suriname, like Guyana, they tended to name their forts the same name. It's their stamp. to emphasize their presence. All right. Now, this was not the first location in the Essequibo that got settled in. They came here in about the early 1700s. This fort was built originally out of wood in the 1400s when the Dutch first arrived. As the time and so on, it slowly demolished, and they decided in 1737, 1738 to start rebuilding it made out of clay bricks. Where you found these clay bricks? There was no masonry, you didn't go to Gafour's and buy, you didn't go to Home Depot. The clay surrounding these islands is actually the banks of these islands are made up of. That is the rich clay that they used to form every individual brick you see here. Yeah. Alright? So the Dutch themselves did not do this, but it was their design. Alright? When the Africans became enslaved and were brought here, they were the ones who did the heavy lifting. So we're going to take a little walk inside the fort, and we're going to go right to the very middle of it, and I'll continue. I'll give you a description of why it was built this way and why it was built here, right?
You can get to shoot the gun.
So this is what the layout of the fort is going to actually look like. So from here, we actually going to walk into the fort. So just a little glimpse, and this is what a ship used to look like when they would come in. And this is in the 17th century when they were here. So as I'm going to enter the fort here, this is the first building in the time of the war. This is what it actually looks like.
So the reason why they built this at a diagonal or lozenge shape, the way they describe it, is a design stolen from French forts in Africa. Now, why they did it? Did any of you see this fort as we passed it on the river?
No.
You saw it?
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
No, but did you see it when you passed here?
I think we see the top.
No.
No?
So this island is completely hidden between Hod Island, Wakenham Island, and Leguan Island. It's nestled right in a crevice in between. What makes it what made it so appealing to the Dutch, why they came here from Fort Jacques, which we'll see later, is because of how well hidden it was. They could see enemies coming in from the Atlantic and enemies coming out from further up the Essequibo, which leads into Brazil and into Venezuela. So nestled between these islands with the mangroves, creating the perfect cover in front. They can see an enemy ship cruising through long before the enemy saw them. The portholes are designed in such a way that they can open fire on those ships once they pass the fort, meaning they were now trapped inside between this outer layer and the inner civilization that they already had, starving out any ship or forcing them to find another way out. And when the British came in, it wasn't just this island. All the small islands that we passed on the way had small fortresses too.
Oh, you getting it, dog?
Those cannons started firing off, and these cannons start firing off. Cannons fired up, start firing off. So imagine you as one lonesome ship, just seeing trees and bush. You just start hearing boom, boom, boom. What's your first instinct? Not turn around and get out of here as fast as possible, right? So that's exactly what happened when the British came. But Dutch were not the first ones to pass through here. As we know, the Armenians did
Suicide bombers.
journey along the Bering Strait, through Central and South America, North America, they found lands all through here in the Caribbean. Now the Spanish, when they came through, Columbus passed here on his first voyage, but he did not step foot on shore. As I told some of the folks on the bus earlier, they looked at the terrain, they looked at the mangroves, the swamp, the mud, the mosquitoes, and they said, this is not for us. We'll make a note of it, we saw it, let's keep going. Plus, Columbus's main mission was not just minerals and riches, but it was to find undiscovered lands. That was his whole criteria. So imagine you going to your boss now and telling them year after year, month after month, I need a budget, I need $1 million because I believe that this is the way to go. Nobody believes in you. When you finally get a chance to get it, somebody believes in you and gives you 3 ships, says go and find uncharted land. We believe the world is flat, we can give you a chance. Go and prove that it's not. And when you finally set sail and you work on your project and you realize this thing didn't make sense in the beginning, everybody that told me not to do it, they were right. You cannot go back to your boss now and say, boss, listen, right? Remember that $1 million he gave me? Kind of wasted it. In Columbus's sense, it was the same thing. Nobody believed in him. He got funding. He came here and found people already living here, huge civilizations. And he couldn't go back home and tell them, so I found land, but we can't do anything with it. There are people living there. All right. So that was the situation he found. So he went further inland, and that's where he found gold and diamonds. They were looking for the city of El Dorado. Now, as that myth goes, the golden city of El Dorado, the Garden City, it's anywhere between here, Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Argentina. Basically, the whole of South America is where that myth is said to be. The myth comes back now, so maybe it was oil, it was black gold, maybe it's behind the Kaichor Falls, that cave behind there. Who knows? We haven't found any hidden city of gold. Back to the Dutch. The Dutch came through, saw the Armenians farming. Said, look, we can create a market here. We can grow things that haven't been grown at home. We can grow this without enemies, without people taking our land, and then we can ship it back home free. So they learned from the Armenians inland how they were farming breadfruits and cassava and things like that. They started expanding outwards along the coastline, doing exactly what the Armenians were doing. All right? Now, the abolition of slavery started in Berbice. Whispers of rebellions and attempted rebellions started coming down. You see in the 1763 monument, Coffee. That was the largest of the attempted rebellions. So whispers of that started coming down. So the Armenians started going out, trying to dampen these whispers. Any slaves that escaped, they'd kill them before they get here because they didn't want these slaves being gotten rid of, because that would mean they now have to become enemies of the Dutch. When the British came, they pushed everybody back. But people wonder how that transition happened. How did that handover happen? How did the Dutch come here, then we hear the British came here, then the Spanish came back on their fourth voyage? Taxes. As goods and their civilization started growing, they worked out deals. Okay, we finished with this land. You can now look for gold and diamond because we've established it. It's not mangrove anymore. So we're going to give you a tax write-off. You can come into our cities and sell your goods, and you give us your land in exchange. That's how lands got divided up in the Caribbean and mostly in Guyana. Guyana was actually supposed to be Portuguese owned in the beginning. Yeah. The Portuguese never even came. They came as indentured laborers, but not as discoverers. All right? Now, another thing about the design of this fort. You notice it's a bit colder in here than it was outside? These clay bricks, they're insulation, so they can trap heat or they can trap the cool inside. When we go to the other building, the Court of Policy, you'll notice it even more. Last thing I'll tell you is the angle of the building. If any cannonballs made it this far, the angle of the building would deflect it rather than the cannonball passing through. So that was the reason for the diamond design. The armory is at the back. You can go into it. Just be careful, there are a few bats. But you can go into the armory. Again, strategic. Any cannon fire, any explosives coming this way, impossible for it to get that far. So they can hold out in here as long as possible, longer than a ship can, or a fleet of ships. All right, so now is 5 minutes past 9. I'll give you until about 20 past 9 to walk around, take some pictures, and then we'll regroup and head to the other.
So out of curiosity, I need to walk through and see what it's like. Yeah. Let's go and visit the cannons. Let's see if these things actually fire or they were just sitting there doing nothing. So let's see what the cannon is looking like. Here it is. So it's kind of loaded from the back here. And oh no, the gunpowder was loaded from the back here. And the actual cannonball would be literally placed in here. And it's going to be actually fired from here because of the gunpowder will be placed in here, and here's where the fire is going to go, and then you get that loud explosion, boom, and it's going to go out there. Oh, we almost hit that guy there. Andy, what you doing? Are you taking pictures? I know. Andrew, not too high. Yeah, that's what I want you to think of. Now this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna have my buddy here propose to his girlfriend. Let's get a practice. So let's see what's actually gonna
You
happen.
want to show me how it's done?
No, I can't do that for you. I can't do that for you. No, you gotta do it for yourself, because if she say yes, then you're in trouble. Oh my God. Just do a 360 of them. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that, look at that, look at that. That's so sweet. That is so sweet. Now, I'm not going to ask you to take it any farther, right? Because, I mean, you know, you're not done illegally yet, but it's good.
I ruined the first impression.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I'm going to head into this building where they said it's an armory that we just stored. So we're going to look through this hole here and see what's going on. But I need to get inside. So I'm actually heading inside here. And this is a fort where they used to stock all their armory, I should say. It's kind of little, but it's huge for what they were doing at the time. It's time now to get the drone shot. So we're gonna send the drone up to get an overview of the fort here. As you can see, the pilot is trying to line it up, and that's Andrew, the operator. So here we are here now, and it's trying to get it up. So that being said, I'm gonna try to walk around, get a little more view of the people that is around, and then we're gonna go up into the air to get an overlook of the Essequibo River and around the island. So right now the drone is going to follow me around here, and let's see how it's going to work. So let's go. Now let's take the drone up into the air and have an overlook of the Essequibo River. Well, you know the Essequibo River for many characteristics. For example, there's many tributaries that is flowing into the Essequibo River, the Cayuni, Mazaruni, and the mighty Petaro, where you have the magnificent Kaichor dumps into the Petaro, and then it takes it out into the Essequibo River. So that is one of the main characteristics of the Essequibo River. And this is located in Guyana. It is the longest river in Guyana, and it's a pleasure to be here to go onto that river and enjoy it. It's breathtaking to see and to ride onto that river here. Now this is where I'm going to head away from the fort, and this is what it's like. So I'm going to head away from it here. And that's the river out there. That's the mighty Essequibo River. It's an island here, about a few hundred residents, mostly farming as the means of work. It's here. And here's where you can see in the entrance. There's somebody's selling here. It's a little vendor. It's warm. Oh, now this man doesn't know the cockles though like me. How look how he's doing it. And you give me a straw too. I tell you what. Yeah, the side. Okay. You want? You want? Well, 6 coconuts. I can give him
Anybody else? You drink coconut with straw, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You want coconut chocolate?
There's a drinking coconut with straw.
Oh. Well, the minute 5.
You want it?
1.
I see you're sneaking out here.
It's 1,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And then we have some pots and pans in there. And the boat is actually on land. There's no water here.
Salt, so come on, let's carry float up here.
Oh, okay.
So when here we normally sweet black water, sweet water. But
Yeah,
now it's
yeah.
salt because right now we got buy water.
So we're actually on Fort Island, where the Dutch had governed here before. And this is actually one of their bottles. So, well known as the Dutch bottle. So they actually made it. And the clay that they normally use comes from the river here, as the guy was explaining earlier. Actually, behind this mangrove is the mighty Essequibo River. So what the guy is saying here, they normally be black water, but because of lack of rain for many months, the water is very, very low.
Very salt, so.
And what are you saying, the water is salt?
Yeah, very salt.
Oh, very salty water. So it's not sweet anymore until we have the rainfall.
Yeah, Banana grew here 28 years now.
Oh, he actually born and lived here, grew up for 28 years. And what's your name?
Arjun.
Arjun. There's Mr. Arjun.
Yeah.
And this is his area where he's living. So that's your house over there?
Nah, me house is the pink house there.
Okay, so this is his neighbor.
Yeah. That
And
one,
some,
the mother brother live there.
oh, his mother's brother, which is his uncle.
Yeah.
And somewhere over there is his residence on the island. And mostly what they do is farming here.
Farming and fishing.
Farming and fishing.
Yeah.
But because of the lack of rain, we cannot have no fishing right now.
No.
So whatever else it's there available to make a living, that's what they do. This is life.
Hey.
Just relaxing,
Yeah.
enjoying it on Fort Island. This is what we're doing here. So this is the Dutch Heritage Museum. We're gonna actually go in there. Hello. Morning, morning. How are you?
Not good yet.
Not good yet?
I got something. I got something.
The petrol low?
Well, good.
So this is in the Dutch Museum here. They have solar. The Dutch never had solar.
Dutch?
Yeah, they have solar up there.
That's from back in the day. They preserved.
Oh, they preserve it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Original solar panels made of clay.
Clay, yeah, yeah. Woo. Nikki, the panel up there, been preserved. It's original, made of clay. Yeah. Made by the Dutch.
They were
Precisely made by the Dutch.
They had some advanced
This was not the
technology.
same sun they had back in the day. So they
Oh, it's a
couldn't-
different sun.
So that was a
Oh,
different model.
that's what happened.
Alright,
Okay, well, the
there's another
sun.
tour going on right now, so we're just gonna wait until they finish up, and then we're gonna go and see.
Me and my cousin coming in to see y'all guys, you know.
Welcome home.
Welcome home. Oh God.
Come, you never doing nothing.
Alright, if we could just have a group together, we can do the discussion, and then I'll give you some time to walk around, alright? It's a lot cooler than the outside. So this is actually the oldest building in Guyana that's for non-military use. Alright, so every structure, every building you see in Guyana, this is the oldest constructed one that's non-military. Alright? Now this was constructed in 1752. Wow. Now what did the Dutch use this for? This was their church, this was their courtroom, their parliament, their trading post, and also where they auctioned slaves. Right? So this was their main hub after they came from Essequibo and established on this island. Now the reason they left Essequibo is because it became way too small for their operation. This gave them a lot of room for expansion and development, as you can see. And it gave them a lot more control over their territory and allowed them to also control Demerara. So Commander Lawrence Storm Van Graaf Sandy, who is over there, behind the railing. That was the commander and governor of Fort Island at the time. From here, he not only controlled Essequibo, but he was the governor of Demerara. Later on, nepotism is not a new concept, his son took over Demerara, and that's how it passed on. He actually went back to Holland, but he did come back and retire in Guyana. He had a farm on Sioux Lake, and that's where he lived when he lived his life until he passed away. So moving on. These three grave sites, everybody asks about them. It's the first thing people ask about when they come in. The first one here, the big one, is Dr. Michael Roth. He was the doctor on the island. He sat on the court of policy. He was in one of those pictures you see on the wall there. So he was one of the parliamentarians, as you can see. He sadly passed away swimming across this part of the Essequibo River. He didn't make it across. Now the other two grave sites, you have Commander Lawrence Backer and his son. Now they sadly passed away from a mysterious illness here on the island. They could not be treated and thus passed away. Now, we talked a little bit about the Dutchman and the Dutch spirit and these folklore that we pass on. Folklore, every fairy tale, every belief, however you want to call it, starts somewhere. Now one of the Dutch stories starts right in this room. If you look carefully on this grave, there's a crack that runs across. Two individuals many years ago decided that this is not a grave site. This is where the Dutch hid their treasure. So they decided to break into it. And the toxic fumes of a vacuum sarcophagus erupted and exploded in their faces. They died very slowly, very painfully. The toxic fumes, methane gas, and all that build up, plus the explosion, made them suffer and die very slowly. So of course it was put back together. There was proof now that there was a body in there, but that led to the lore as the story spread through language barriers and over time and over centuries. Oh, when you disturb any of their grave sites or their tombs, or you take any of their bottles or this and that, their spirit is going to follow you. I don't know about that part, but I haven't stolen from them, so I don't know. But I did grow up on an old Dutch grave site and found a lot of bottles and didn't know what it was as kids. Nothing happened to us, at least as far as I remember. Now, another important part about this building. This was the main area, this is the main hall. So they had their chair up here, and this is where they dealt with all matters, trials, decisions. This is where other ships would stop by. No spirits here, just a dog. No spirits. Touchy topic. Yep, so all the trading posts, anybody coming to do trading within the area, collect cultivation, anything like that, this is where they stop to get all their paperwork in order. The room to the left was the prison, also where the auctioning was done. The room to the right was rumored to be the execution room.
Okay.
So they did that by hand.
The left is the prison?
Yes.
Where?
My right, your left.
Okay.
It was the room for the executions. My left, your right was the prison. Now, you notice a lot of artifacts in these showcases. Not all of these items were collected from this island. In 2007, when this island was considered a heritage site, and that is when the preservation not there in the 1700s. But a lot of these artifacts were collected here. Some were donated by researchers and archaeologists from different countries or different parts of Guyana. One way that we can know for sure that, for example, the rum bottles were authentic. This is back in the day when the glass had to be blown. Now, some of these bottles at the bottom here in the Black Sea or on the European coast, and in Caribbean Sea, you have a lot of these ships that sank. And believe it or not, 500 years later, you're finding these ships with the bottles still full of rum that's consumed. It's insane. None of these are full, no worries. But alright, as of now, you guys can free look around. Now it's 10 to 10. Let's say we're quarter past 10. We'll be broken heads of trading pools, which are all the next one. We're finding a lot. If you look around, you see a lot of the older generation still here. The kids, as they go to the mainland, they go to school and so on, very few of them find reasons to come back here. Alright, any questions? Please let me know.
So here's where we can actually enter. I know.
Hanging chambers.
Yeah. Execution chambers of what the Dutch used to do with the people. So what we can see over the fence there, there's some grave, and I don't know what it is or whose grave it is, but it looks as though it was taken care of by somebody. Maybe there's somebody on the island for some reason. I don't think it was for the Dutch. And now over here, it's another grave here. Oh, that's somebody's mom. So this is actually two graves. Looks like it's a family here. And it looks like mom and dad because I see something like a rum bottle up there. Some form of alcohol was in there. Okay, go.
De gedachtenis des rechtvaardigens tot zegeningen zijn hier ligt begraven. En dat is de naam.
Okay.
Geboren in Nuremberg op de 18 februari.
So that's actually somebody's name.
Overleden or died in Rio, Essequibo on November 15.
1770?
Yeah. In his life, he was what if you operate people?
Doctor? Surgeon?
Surgeon, yeah. And for the noble clock through, I don't know what that is, the name or something.
Okay.
For the West Indian.
Oh, so actually he was a doctor.
He was, yeah, a surgeon.
Surgeon, and he actually died.
Yeah.
Okay? Thank you so much for that translation.
The noble, Paradise Ferry, the noble, I don't know if that's the name, Johannes Booker, commander, lieutenant.
Oh, so he was like a main figure in the army.
I think so, yeah.
And I think he's died somewhere they're colonizing the Essequibo because I saw something about Essequibo. And he was here in the 1772. I think that's when he died.
He was born in Doorn in February 1737 and he died in February 1972, yeah.
No, that's 1772.
Yeah.
See, that's 1772. Oh, that's a lot of centuries way back. This person is actually
that he was born here.
was born in Rio Essequibo, and that was looked like 1767, November.
Yeah.
The 2nd.
and died then
In
died in
September
September 68.
1768. 76, there's only 1 year? No, something's not right here.
Maybe it was a child
Yeah, it could be.
of the person next to you.
Give a river here at the Fort Island Stelling. And here's my brother Andy Nazir enjoying the trip.
Yeah,
Yep. All right. So we gotta heading down the river that way. As you can see, there's a few boats here. So this is the Bartica Stelling. As you can see, everybody's coming up in the boat. So we're heading here to take a walk around Bartica. See what it's like, and this is the Essequibo. This is where Maduro wants to invade, but we'll be fine. You won't take it. She said try chicken.
The hotel, the modern hotel still running, right? No, still just at the back.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
So we have a little walk around Bartica. Some construction zone here.
Your family live in them, I don't know.
Okay.
First Street, Second Street. No, they live in that First Street. We can reach somebody, a lady. A lady, we reach somewhere that live in that First Street.
Me, you know.
I think so.
Or is it in Haven?
No, we went straight down the road.
Oh,
We go down the road.
oh, we went in one. I know my mama when you're going there, you sit down and it's like the price.
Yeah.
My mama, we walk out back.
There's a different price here.
Yeah.
We walk out back.
It's more expensive.
It's like holy shit.
We got charged for bringing
No,
something.
and then we went to the other place of the guy.
Hello guys. And that's our next tour guide.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So se walk with the umbrella.
Huh?
One of the iconic parts of Bartica is we missed it by 1 weekend. It's the Bartica Regatta. You've heard of rodeo? It's something like that, but on the water instead. We have boat races, paddle boats, kayaks, jet boats, jet skis, you name it, racing round and round, and everybody lines up on the shoreline. So that population of 8,000 usually triples on that weekend. Alright, we had to bring 100 people here during that. That was fun. Alright, so the beachfront that we're going to, you'll be able to buy anything to eat, anything to drink. We're going to stay here until about 4 to 12, and we'll make the long journey back to the boat. Unfortunately, the water is too low. We would normally come off right at these steps, right to the edge of this yellow wall. This is where we'd normally come onto the top. Unfortunately, we had to go to the public stelling. So we're going to go into the beachfront. The next stop from here is the resort for lunch. Alright, so don't fill up unnecessarily. The resort is about 20 minutes away from here. Alright,
When the snow come back.
Yeah.
So we get the ground footage of it. So this is the mighty Essequibo, and this is from Bartica. This is the gateway to the interior of Guyana, the hinterland. It's what we call the mighty Essequibo. So as we go this way, actually to the Atlantic Ocean. And here we have Miss Nikki finally decided to come down.
Going in?
Yeah, my boots. Yeah, I'm gonna go in later, but we can go to the resort and get a pool up there to swim. Andy, how does it feel to be in Bartica for this? This is the second time. Yeah, we can swim with her. Yeah. Third time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, extra one.
Yeah, give up. I like this one.
So you're gonna take me back? That's all.
Why they doing you like
I know.
that?
You're telling me about it. I don't.
Just now you were a fish.
You know.
now
You are.
you're
You.
a fish.
Yeah. I tell you.
I wonder what next.
I've got to find out. I got to find out. I really do need to find out. This is the view of the Aruari Resort in the Mazaruni Essequibo area. So we gotta come here and hang out a little bit, have some lunch, and then get going. So we're at Aruari Resort here and just enjoying it. So it's a little view of Aruari, but there's a falls across the river which we're going to check out. So we're going to take a walk over there. It's going to be, it's actually a boat ride over. So this is what Aruari actually looks like.
So then your friend for this one.
Yeah, right across the river, right. This is walking down on the Essequibo River here. And this is the deck. It's a floating deck adjustable by the height of the water. So we're across from Aruari, the resort over there.
Ready? See you in 5 minutes.
What's the name of the falls we go in? Yeah.
Bartica, Bartica.
Whatever it is, some bar, whatever bar it is.
The bar mga Guyanese one.
How are we doing there? You leave any water there for us?
Yeah.
All right, good. How you doing? How are you?
Good.
But this is where we have a little trickling of water, that's all.
When it was, my first, you came all this way, you take the walk over there, sit under the water, it is worth it.
Kind of beauty, like, oh, you know, made out. So we go for like a walk and throw a couple bags, just like plastic bottles. And then we start getting, it's all the northern deserts of Peru. The government's so corrupt that they're not subsidizing waste removal anymore, so the garbage trucks can.
Continue. Follow the creek. It's not much. Now I got my brother almost lost in the bush. Luckily we heard him, recognized him from his red t-shirt.
I shout him by.
Or he would have lost. He would have been disappeared. Yeah, I see the road up there. So this is the Aruari Hotel, or resort I should say. H2O, there's a lot of water. Okay.
Aruari Resort, White Waterfalls.
White water.
Resort.
Okay. We go through there, we go into Bartica. No, Bartica is this way. There's,
If we go around the island, we get back to the Mazur.
We're at the Aruari Resort and hanging out at the best area of this resort. It's like on the peak toe of the river. Myself, Brother Chris, Sister Anju, and over here is my brother Andy. And at this point here, the actual wind is coming directly on you. Yeah, blowing through my hair actually, according to my brother. Yeah, it's actually making you want to sleep. It's so beautiful, it feels so good here. It's unbelievable. Sitting here listening to the waves is so soothing. nature. Yeah. Yeah, you notice? Yeah. So here we are back at Bartica, back safely in the bodies of our home. Max is out, Nikki is out. I want to make sure that everybody's out. Come on, Mr. Dominic, jump! And there is Andrew and baby Aliyah. She's back. So here we are back at Bartica, heading back to get the bus, and I have my cousin here who was actually on the ride. How was it?
Great.
Okay.
Amazing. Wonderful.
Good. And I have my brother up front here, Andy Nazir, from the Nazir's farm. Whose boat is this?
Rico. Rico in front of you. He not stuff for you, you know.
All right, so myself, Andrew, and Chris is here. We're back here safely. So Chris, what's the tour all about? And what's the location we can pick you up and some more information?
All right, so this is Wanderlust Adventures GY.
Yeah.
Our office is in Lamaha and Waterloo Streets. The adventure we went on today, this was the Essequibo 5-island hopping tour. All right,
Okay.
so you can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, our website online. I can even put the details down below.
Yes.
Come on, take a tour with us. All right, let's go.
Well, I can say I had fun. It was very adventurous. Been so many places. I really do enjoyed it. Looking forward to come back again, Chris.
No
Hope
problem.
some good day.
Anytime.
I really appreciate. He's very knowledgeable of the trip and whatever else is going on. So, like I said, join us. Come on down and let's go.
Let's go.
Right now.